Fear.
Fear.
Fear. Fear. Fear.
Hello, I'm here to be part of the Fear Club.
I'd like to be part of the Fear podcast, starring Coleman Hunt and
Kirsten Eddie. Welcome, Pennywise and Babadook.
If you couldn't,
we'll see you guys. I feel like it's been a while since we've done that intro.
We keep forgetting to do the intro. Welcome, Disguisey family.
Well, no.
Actually, the Disguisey family is very unwelcome.
No. If you're Disguisey, fuck off.
If you can't tell,
it's bad comedy part 2.
If you can't tell, we watched Master of Disguise. One of the, actually, maybe the worst comedy ever made. We'll go into it.
There's very little competition.
Yeah.
That level of terrible.
So for today's episode, we watched Garfield the Movie, starring Bill Murray.
Oddly enough, maybe the best thing we watched tonight, out of just from process of elimination.
Yeah, just by default.
Yeah.
Master of Disguise, and then we watched Baby Geniuses, but
not the one you think.
Not the one you think, and not the other one you think either. We'll get into it. But that's an intro. Anything else we've watched since last time?
We watched a little bit of more Scooby-Doo.
We watched some more Scooby-Doo. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we watched the first 4 of the second part of season 2.
Yes. Let me get to the episode list. There it is. Among Us. One of the episodes that we watched was called Aliens Among Us.
Aliens Among Us, and it's all about. It was all about these imposters running around stealing shit.
I mean, I guess technically they were imposters.
Aliens Among Us,
So
Heart of
Evil. I think.
One more? Yes, Heart of Evil.
Heart of Evil. So the last one we watched was Wrath of the Krampus, where the gang got all the Planispheric disc pieces. Spoiler alert for season 2.
Spoilers. Season 2.
And now, the first one we watched today was Heart of Evil, which is that was a funny one. This one is our obligatory Blue Falcon episode.
Yeah.
The obligatory Blue Falcon and Dynamite episode.
It was a good episode. It was really funny, but it's still just like, why can't they just let sleeping dogs lie?
Well, the reason it works is because the writers know that Blue Falcon is kind of lame, and they make him just like a Batman pastiche.
Right.
Like over the top. It says on here, Blue Falcon is depicted in the artistic style of Frank Miller's Batman from The Dark Knight.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's like the inspiration for like the Nolan and Snyder, like dark, gritty, brutal Batman who doesn't take no shit and beats people up because justice.
Yeah, and the villain of this episode is the villain from the show Johnny Quest. So there's a lot of reference, cameo, like weird things like that in this episode. I feel like this is season 2's version of that episode where all the old mystery gangs meet up together. Like it's just a weird one-off with a bunch of Hanna-Barbera cameos.
Right. Oh fuck. Yeah.
He's just looking at all the stuff on here about Blue Falcon.
There's 2 movies. There's 2 Scooby-Doo movies that feature Blue Falcon.
Yeah, Scoob tried to push Blue Falcon last year. It didn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. Stop posting about Blue Falcon. I'm tired of seeing it. But like it's kind of fun in this episode because you've got Blue Falcon that's like this over the top like Dark Knight Batman parody.
And then you've got
Dynamite that they don't even attempt to make even slightly cool. They just make him as cartoonish and dumb as possible.
Straight out of the 60s.
Yeah, so it's like a weird. You said it was like 90s Batman and 60s Robin.
Yes.
Like so the fight scenes are actually really funny. And if anybody can make Blue Falcon work in Scooby-Doo, it's the Mystery Inc. people because they know how to do good action.
Yeah.
Like honestly, sometimes their action is better than their mysteries.
Yeah.
So like
we talked a bit about that.
So like it works in this one because like it's just the action scenes are like here's Blue Falcon Batman fighting people and then here's Dynamite turning into like a boat and like a vacuum. Like it's just stupid, but like fun. That was a fun episode.
Yeah. And then there was Theater of Doom, here we get a bit more lore about the planispheric disc and like what led to the original Crystal Cove falling into the ocean.
Yeah. The only thing we got for in big plot wise from Blue Falcon 1,
not really
Heart of Evil, was just the disc.
But we already knew about Nibiru, so.
Also, Heart of Evil, that's such a generic name.
Yeah. This is because of the
They might as well have just called it Blue Falcon episode.
Yeah.
Like
the Blue Falcon returns.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually would have been funny. That also gives like a weird origin to Blue Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, Theater of Doom, the next one. There's not much to say about the Blue Falcon episode.
It doesn't really add to the plot, but
there's not much to say about it other than that it's a Blue Falcon episode that's actually funny. So if anything, that's the proof that this show can do no wrong at this point.
Right.
So yeah, the next one's Theater of Doom. I don't have a lot to say about this one either. It just features some nice old characters.
Yeah, it brings back the Avocados guy and
the George Avocados guy that they keep using.
Like he was the villain. He was the villain once, and
he wasn't the villain. The first time it was his brother.
Right.
The second time,
but then it like ruined his family.
No,
name.
yeah, they think that was the joke in this episode. Is in the previous two he was in, they think it's him, and it's not. And then in this one, they don't even consider him, and then it actually is him.
And then they're just like, we always kind of thought you were evil, so
yeah, we don't really care about your backstory. And he was like, I'm gonna tell it anyway, because fuck you, I hate you, Mystery.
I hate you, Mystery.
He's just this guy that gets screwed over by
the big thing in this episode is
that there is an actual ghost that is like
and it's like the downfall always starts with the dog.
Yeah, the downfall of the gang in Crystal Cove, and like he reveals some of the real history of Crystal Cove and talks about Nibiru.
Ooh.
Vincent Van Gogh's also there. That's fun.
It's always good to see Vincent Van Gogh in this show.
This is the first episode with him in it where they don't spend half of the recap segment at the beginning just reminding you who he is. Yeah. Like at this point they're just like, you know.
You either know or you're not going to care that much. Yeah. Or you're not going to care enough to argue.
I like when they do the play that they're having to put on.
Right.
And it's Vincent Van Gogh just starts saying lines from the Vincent Price part of Thriller.
Yes.
Like just leaning into the parody. And then Shaggy and Scooby are awkwardly singing. They're not singing Thriller, but they are singing.
They are singing.
It's the whole show is just a way to lure out the monster.
Yeah. Then aliens.
Aliens Among Us.
The most
sus.
The most important episode. And by most important, I mean.
Sheriff Stone burst in as the gang is investigating the planispheric disc and drags them into a side plot.
Yeah, they were about to go investigate the planispheric disc.
And then he literally burst into their office and is like, "Oh,
aliens among us!"
And it's like, all right, we're doing this. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, ooh, yes, our Sheriff Bronson Stone episode of the day.
Bronson Stone dominance.
Sheriff Bronson Stone moment. He's freaked out because he thinks aliens abducted him when he was a kid, and
that they returned.
I like that there's 3 different kinds of alien. That
the traditional gray
alien, the Raptor, and the Nordic alien, which at the end of the episode, when you see the 3 people in costumes, one of their costumes is literally just a wig and glasses, that's the Nordic alien. That's probably one of my favorite jokes of the episode, because he's just like, you can't be fooled by their Nordic good looks. They're aliens. And so they just help Sheriff Stone figure out his alien problem, and they say Among Us twice. So,
but they always. Weirdly enough, there's a weird
pause.
It's like it was like they added the Among Us in afterwards.
Among Us. Yeah.
The big thing we get here is that
at the end of the episode, literally
they go to someone's grave who was associated with the planispheric discs, and they find a gun.
Yeah. No, yeah, literally as soon as they're done helping Sheriff Stone, they just go back to the main plot investigation.
Gatorsburg.
Yeah, they go to Gatorsburg from the 3rd episode.
Which, funny enough, they don't even go back to that location.
They don't go to the town.
They just go to a cemetery in Gatorsburg.
Yeah.
And also the town hall got burned down by Brad and Judy.
Oh yeah, that just like happens.
Mostly just to establish that like things are getting very serious.
Yeah, they're going hard to get those disc pieces back. And speaking of going hard, mutant cattle piranha bee hybrids created by Pericles because the evil gang has gone insane.
Like it could have just been robots.
No,
like, he had to make
the horrible herd is the name of this episode.
He just had to make them actual.
There's not even a person to unmask in this one. It's just a bunch of mutant cows
literally
that
halfway
through just actually created.
Yeah, literally halfway through, Pericles is like, yeah, I invented them.
No, yeah, literally halfway through, they like hack into the evil group and watch them for like a scene and learn that Pericles created these things.
And there's maybe some hints of tension between Pericles and Mr. E, because Mr. E's like, we're gonna go bankrupt if you keep funding these harebrained schemes.
Okay, this is going back a bit, but I like that in the Blue Falcon episode, he's like, they tell him their name is Mystery Incorporated, and he's like, corporations are scum. Like, he's very, very, very socialist.
Yeah, socialist Batman.
Yeah.
Well, because this isn't a rich millionaire Batman. This is a Batman of the working class.
Yeah, he was a security guard before. That was his origin.
Oh man. And then the horrible herd, like it basically just completely fucks up the town.
We should also mention that the herd is like sometimes animated with CG and sometimes 2D animated.
It's really distracting. And
it's
really
noticeably bad. Like the difference is like when they're animated in 2D, the shading is different. You can tell their backs are meant to look like bee bodies kind of. When it's the CG models, they're just like slightly different white stripes.
It just looks like shitty ghost bulls.
Yeah, the CG looks noticeably worse in a way that it's like
okay, the Mystery Machine CG can look rough sometimes, but it never looks that bad.
It looks worse in the way that you can tell that they ran out of time and/or money for this episode and had to like slack on some of the shots. Because
but the big chase at the end with the queen.
It looks better the later in the episode you get because you can tell they filmed that was
before they started running out of time and/or money.
You can tell they animated the big climactic part because basically halfway through the episode, the mutant cattle just start swarming Crystal Cove because that's Pericles' plan. He wants to just destroy Crystal Cove because that will somehow help him locate the planispheric disc. The disc drives people insane. The bad guys are insane. But it's like you can tell that they animated this stampede sequence, and that's where all the budget and/or time went. Mm-hmm. And so, like when the skull cows are introduced at the beginning of the episode, they look terrible. They start to look better as it goes on, but they still, unless it's a 2D animated
There's still one shot near the end where they're falling in the ocean that just looks like garbage.
And you can tell immediately what shots have been hand-drawn and what shots have been computer rendered. Like, the shading is different and everything.
Everything about it is just noticeably worse. But yeah, that was a good episode. Yes. All the animation issues aside.
They really want us to know that Nova the dog is a thing. Yeah, they're really pushing her thing with Scooby.
Yeah, except for the Blue Falcon episode, she was
for some reason she just wasn't in the Blue Falcon.
They put a lot of emphasis on her in every single one of these episodes.
I wonder if they just didn't want 3 dogs in that episode.
Yeah, probably.
So I think those are the 4 we watched, and we actually talked about them faster than usual.
Yeah, well, there was we
didn't watch a whole arc this time.
Yeah, we just watched. There also weren't like a bunch of big plot revelations in this like there were last time.
We just kind of watched some fun. Like, how many episodes do we have? Because I feel like there's a slow here, and then it's probably gonna pick up.
I'm assuming it's like 12-ish episodes this last part of the season. So
we've got like another 8.
Yeah, so 9,
I think.
Climax arc and then middle and then wrapping storylines up arc.
So I'd imagine when we next talk about this, things are gonna
Dance of the Undead.
The next episode's got the Hex Girls in their original outfits. Let's go.
Nice.
We'll be ready for us to talk about that next time. Not next episode, I don't think.
Unless we watch them during the spoilers.
We're doing a Twilight episode. We were gonna do it now. But we just
scheduling it.
So we're doing a fast one. I say fast. Well, let's see how long we've spent blabbing on about Scooby-Doo. About the usual.
Alright.
about the usual.
You know, we're not going to spend a lot of time blabbing on about
Garfield the Movie. So here we are onto our main dish of movies. Every movie we watched was around 80 minutes, which was honestly the best part of this episode, is that we didn't have some unbearably long garbage movie.
Right, yeah.
Garfield, so all these movies were around the same length. Garfield felt like it was 5 minutes long compared to the other two movies.
Dude, it fucking flew
Like,
by.
I barely even remember watching Garfield.
It's 88 minutes.
It's like 85 minutes, and it felt like 15.
Yeah, it doesn't just feel like 30 minutes shorter than the others, it feels like an hour shorter
than the others. We didn't even finish our drinks, because it wasn't even bad enough for us to want to drink.
The best way I can describe this movie is, it is not a bad comedy, but it's not a good comedy either. It's a nothing comedy.
I came up with this one. This was the first episode where I picked all the movies, which turns out it's actually more cursed than you picking all the movies.
It's almost as if I try to make sure there's at least one good movie for us to watch, as opposed to 3 terrible ones.
But anyway, Garfield, the movie. So, I think we all have that one mediocre comedy we watched a lot as a kid for some reason, and we don't even know why, because it's not like it ever made us laugh out loud.
Yeah.
We just watched it for some reason.
I'm trying to think what it is for me. It's not Garfield, that's for sure.
For me, it was Garfield. And I hated when the movie started, it was playing the, "Ayo, what's the do now?" Like the music in the opening credits, and it gave me nostalgia, but not good nostalgia, just I remember this nostalgia.
Remember Barry nostalgia.
And the rest of the movie was just I was never oh god, turn it off. I was just bored. But it just went by like that, too. It was so, boring and nothing that it just went by like that. The most notable thing about it is that Bill Murray starred in it, and I'm just gonna read. There's an entire section on the Wikipedia.
Just for Bill Murray's
There's reception, and then there's Bill Murray's response. Bill Murray said in an interview with GQ that he was confused when he agreed to play the voice of Garfield for the film. "I thought it would be kind of fun, because doing a voice is challenging and I'd never done that. Plus, I looked at the script and it said so-and-so and Joel Cohen. And I thought, Christ, well, I love those Cohens. They're funny. So I sort of read a few pages of it."
Cohen.
Not Cohen.
Not Cohen, who actually wrote it.
Yes. So they went off and shot the movie, and I forgot all about it. Finally, I went out to LA to record my lines. So they just filmed the whole thing and then animated him in. And usually when you're looping a movie, if it takes 2 days, that's a lot. I don't know if I should even tell this story, because it's kind of mean.
What the hell?
It's interesting.
He thought for a moment, and he's
should I trash talk the movie in an interview? I don't care. That's so
I'm Bill Murray. Who gives a shit?
So I worked all day and kept going, "That's the line. Well, I can't say that." And you sit there and go, "What can I say that will make this funny and make it make sense?" And I worked. I was exhausted and soaked with sweat, and the lines got worse and worse. And I said, "Okay, you better show me the whole rest of the movie so we can see what we're dealing with." So I sat down and watched the whole thing, and I kept saying, "Who the hell cut this thing? Who did this? What the bleep was Cohen thinking?" And then they explained it to me. It wasn't written by that Joel Cohen. I'm assuming this is a link to the Joel Cohen. It was written by Joel Cohen, not Joel Cohen.
Yeah, the guy famous for Yours, Mine, and Ours.
And I'm sure that this fact about why Bill Murray did the movie is not exactly uncommonly known, but I've never read his entire diatribe about
also, I like the implication that he never met Joel Cohen on set.
No, he never. I love that he never went to set. They just shot the movie and then he recorded it.
And they're "We need you to record some more dialogue." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Somewhere up here, I think it said that he was. He recorded it on the set for something else he was working on.
That makes sense.
It was just, such a quick, and then it was a day of, oh, God, what did I agree to? All right, whatever. It's voiceover.
Yeah.
It's not that much of my time.
It's voiceover. I'm assuming Joel Cohen knows what he's doing. And then he finally gets the script back, and it's
Jim Carrey was considered for the role of John Arbuckle. I bet he turned that down.
Oh, I
Jennifer Garner and Angelina Jolie were considering playing the female interest. Oh my god, the amount of good actors that dropped this fucking movie.
Yeah, oh my god.
Jim Carrey was...
No, they all of them almost made the exact same mistake
Bill Murray
did. Where they're like, oh, a Cullen. And then they looked closer and it's like, oh, Cohen.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
What did he do?
Bill Murray.
Oh, yours, mine, and ours.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson was considered for Garfield as well.
I think you can maybe pull that off, but would have a very different energy. The only good thing about this movie, and it's not even really a good thing, it's just that like Bill Murray so naturally fits the role of Garfield.
Yeah, because he's that lazy demeanor.
Yeah.
It's just he's not given anything to work with. I suppose we should talk about the actual movie now instead of just how Michael Ironside dropped after one day of playing Happy Chapman, the villain. For unknown reasons. Okay.
AKA, he read the script.
Yeah. But all of this production stuff makes it sound like the script is worse than it is.
No, it's just kind of
really generic and boring, and it gives Bill Murray nothing to play off of because
first things first, John Arbuckle is like, he's a plank of wood.
It's
Breckenmeyer.
He's even more of a plank of wood than the character of John Arbuckle.
Funnily enough, he's either too much of a plank of wood or not enough of a plank of wood.
Yeah, the performance is not really working.
They try to play it all like hokey and sincere, he's supposed to. But like, I feel like even John Arbuckle has this sense of detached irony to him. In the original comics.
100%. The other big problem is they decided to make Odie, the dog.
Yeah.
They made him just a normal dog that doesn't talk. All the other animals talk. Odie doesn't, which just does several things. It makes Garfield look like more of an asshole for feuding with this dog. It's almost like a human picking on a baby. Like, that's the intelligence.
It's basically just Son of Mask, where it's like...
Oh my god.
Not to that level of, like, intensity, but it's like... Oh, this baby's gonna steal my wife away from me.
Yeah. That's problem number one. It makes Garfield look more of an asshole. Problem number two, it means Bill Murray has no one to play off
because it's a dog. It doesn't even have a personality aside from being a dog.
He just says zingers as Garfield, sometimes with Garfield looking right at the camera. Like, the only people he has to play off of is us,
if this keeps up, I'm gonna have to get a CAT scan. A CAT scan!
The only people he has to play off of are us, and we're not laughing.
No.
So it just creates this
There are several points where it's like, Bill Murray clearly knows we're not laughing, and he just breaks down crying in the book.
And it like, if they went full on with that and made him, you said it, like Deadpool almost, where there's just no fourth wall, and he's constantly like...
breaking, like
lampshading the movie.
Or winking at the audience.
But there's no humor like that in the script. It's just like kind of bland zingers.
It's like
bland sarcasm.
Bland sarcasm. Which I guess is sort of on brand for bad Garfield.
Yeah. I said this like when we got to the first like funny slapstick chase scene and it wasn't funny. I was like, this movie's just as generic as Garfield
It's just as generic.
They captured the bland genericness of a bad Garfield comic.
Right.
And that's just kind of the whole movie. There's an evil guy named Happy Chapman who
if you want to know the plot to this movie, just watch Toy Story 2.
Yeah, it's
Toy Story 1 and
the plot is like a weird mix of Toy Story 1 and 2. Basically, Garfield is Woody. Odie is Buzz. Odie runs away. Garfield has to go find him. Odie gets captured by the evil Happy Chapman that's basically Al's Toy Barn guy. Yeah. I do like how the villain is like I like his motivations, that he's like this guy who has this like
cat allergy.
He has this massive cat allergy, but his whole like TV gimmick is that he has this cat. He's like a cat trainer.
But he wants to be a dog person.
So he wants a dog instead because of this allergy.
Yeah.
And the performance is like, it's not legendarily hokey, but it's more entertaining than the rest of the...
Yeah.
That's a trend with the movies we watched, is that the villain is like more entertaining because in a bad comedy where there's nothing to work with, at least as the villain, you're allowed to be kind of hokey.
Yeah, you can ham it up a little.
Yeah. So he like
some of them don't, but
he's less like everything else in this movie. He's less funny than I remember.
Yeah.
The end conflict of the movie has Happy Chapman get on a train with Odie, and then Garfield stops the train, and then the final climax of action takes place off the train. You had a train, but no, they're gonna leave the train and do the action off the train.
Garfield almost caused a mass train.
No. Probably the funniest scene is Garfield goes in and he's trying to bring the train back that Odie and the bad guy are on, and he almost causes like every train to just collide into each other and like crash.
Garfield almost caused like what?
A 20 train
pile up.
And that scene is funny.
That scene is incredibly funny, but like for such dark reasons.
That scene's funny because the rest of the movie is not that dark.
Yeah.
And that's about all.
That's really all there is to say.
Yeah. It really breezes by. It's just like CGI Garfield is like unsettling, but not unsettling enough to be worth talking about. Nothing in this movie is bad enough to be worth talking about.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, and yet here we are. I thought it would be like.
I didn't think it would be Master of Disguise level bad, but I thought it would be. Oh, this is going to be a fun.
Honestly, I just picked it because I remembered it from childhood, and yeah, it's just it's nothing. Yeah. I mean, you can watch it if you want.
I don't know why you would want to.
I don't know why you would want to, but you ate my Lasaga, Garfield. All right.
Wow, that was a really great impression, Coleman.
Of Garfield?
Yeah. You should consider being a Master of Disguise. Master of Disguise.
That was one of your worst transitions ever. The Master of Disguise.
Fuck you. It's Master of Disguise. It doesn't deserve a good transition.
This is the funny Dana Carvey movie. And by funny, I mean
funny.
Whatever the opposite of funny is.
Okay, should we get to it when we get to that scene, or should we just get it out of the way now?
We'll get to it. We'll get there when we get
there. Okay, Master of Disguise is a 2002 American adventure comedy film by Perry Andolin Blake and written by Dana Carvey.
Starring and written by Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
Which is a bad look for Dana Carvey.
This is supposed to be his like magnum opus that assures us
this was supposed to be his Hollywood movie boom, and it's just like diet Austin Powers.
Yeah. With a little bit of bad Jim Carrey
It has he's not in the movie, but it has that energy. Holding a 1% approval.
Oh, it's also a Happy Madison production, so make of that what you will.
This is a movie that's actually worth the it's one of the most hated movies ever, and it's worth the hate. It's worth the hate.
It's as bad as you've heard, if not worse.
I'll just say this right now. I'd seen it as a kid once. I didn't think it was very funny, but I also didn't hate it. So much less funny than I remember, and I already remembered it being not funny. I didn't know comedy could be this bad without circling around and becoming ironic.
Yeah, usually, like, even the most painful of comedies, eventually there's a point where, like, either you or the movie just breaks, and you start laughing at how absurd it all is.
Yeah.
That never happens here. The only time you end up laughing is when you actually go insane because you can't handle it anymore.
The closest thing I got to that was in the credits when they had 2 end credit scenes. No, or maybe 3. I don't know.
4.
Yeah, there was like a bunch. What is this? The fucking MCU? Why are there so many post credits things?
It's the BGCU.
There's not yet. Not yet.
Well, we know Master of Disguise is in the
BGCU.
Yeah,
you know what? You're right. Master of Disguise is in the Baby Geniuses cinematic universe. We'll get there when we get there. So, the movie stars Dana Carvey as Fabrizio Disguisi, the latest in a long line of secret agents known as Masters of Disguise. And and their disguises are just like skin suits.
Yes.
Except Dana Carvey's. He's technically the best disguiser because
he actually disguises, but also he's the worst disguiser because
he's a moron.
He's a moron, and he's also not good at impressions.
He's the kind of...
He's not funny, and in the in-universe they acknowledge that he's not funny, but it never stops being not funny.
It still keeps happening. He's doing an Italian accent the whole time, except when he's playing doing a character, and then he's doing like other accents. At one point, he's Indian, blackface in 2002.
Oh my god.
And his father gets kidnapped, and so then his grandfather is like, "You need to become a disguisee and stop the evil Devlin Bowman." And Devlin Bowman just kidnaps his father and makes his father go steal things for him in disguises of famous celebrity cameos.
Right.
But every celebrity cameo is somehow so dated that I don't even know who they are anymore. Like, I only know of them, but I can't recognize them.
Mom from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yes, she plays woman with big ass.
That's big ass.
That sums up the character. But then there's girl. Love interest girl.
Love interest lady.
That is basically hired. I don't know what she's hired by the disguisees to help with.
I think they actually hired her to have sex with them.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything.
They say they're hiring her for a secretary, but
they're getting an assistant.
But this was after they had the discussion about how disguisees have to have big-butted ladies all around the
and they also in her job interview joke about how disguisees tend to fall in love with their assistants. It's so weird. The only reason she really ends up with him at the end, I feel like it's not for him. It's because he's better for her kid than her asshole boyfriend character.
There's a scene where she's midway through the movie and it's like, I used to think you were just an annoying little man-child who isn't funny.
I just started saying yes. And then she says, but actually I think you can do anything. And I just started going, no. Okay, Garfield, we didn't even finish our drinks. Master of Disguise, we were plastered by the end.
Plastered.
Because it just every time that you...
We finished our drinks, then we had 2 more drinks, and then we had 5 shots.
Never has a movie been so aggressively unfunny without being so absurd that it's actually funny. There are moments where it dips into being absurdist, almost funny, such as, and I guess we should get to it now, the infamous, the only scene anyone remembers. Turtle. Is this the Turtle Club? The Turtle Club scene is so absurd that it is funny.
It's the closest it ever gets to being funny intentionally because I think it was supposed to be absurd.
Yeah.
The problem is that that's only something I can assume because I think what they were going for is lol wacky random humor.
Yeah. What makes that scene even funnier is the fun fact we found out last night that apparently the Turtle Club scene was filmed on September 11th, 2001, and they had to stop in the middle of shooting it for a moment of silence.
Just the image.
The idea of Dana Carvey in his fucking turtle suit,
having to
standing there being solemn, and
we made a joke of he was about to make a turtle joke, and then somebody is like, guys, the Twin Towers just fell down, and you just hear him quietly go, turtle. And look down. That fun fact is funnier than the entire movie. Just the fact that if he ever... Anytime someone asks him,
where were you on 9/11, he either has to lie or say he was filming the Turtle Club
I don't know which is
Master
better.
of Disguise.
I don't know which is better.
And not just him, but everyone involved in that production has to say, I was filming the Turtle Club scene for Master of... I was the DP, I was the boom mic guy for the Turtle Club
scene. I'm the guy who got his face bitten in the
I'm the guy who got his nose CGI bitten off in the Turtle Club scene. That's what I was doing on September 11th, 2001.
Yes, I wish I was doing literally anything else too.
It's so fucked up, but like so cursed, just like this entire movie is.
Like there's some other scenes before where it's like him training to be good at disguises, and he's...
The plot doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is just how this movie is so aggressively unfunny and just has no idea how bad it is.
I've seen plenty of movies that are terrible, that are absolutely garbage.
Kangaroo Jack. Even the people in Kangaroo Jack had a little more awareness of how bad.
At least the people in Kangaroo Jack knew they were making a shit show.
Yeah.
Like they may not have had a choice in the matter, but they knew they were making a shit show.
Yes. Joe's Apartment, Kangaroo Jack. List all the other bad comedies we've watched, and
even Meet the Feebles. Peter Jackson knew. Peter Jackson knew.
Yes.
He was making a bad movie on purpose.
You know the classic like movie grading scale that's a U of like ironic value, real value. Master of Disguise is literally the bottom point of that scale, and that is as bad as a movie can get without becoming ironically.
It has no sense of like. It has no sense of irony.
At the bottom of that U.
It is. It genuinely thinks it is being funny.
There's a running gag where they keep saying, that sounds crazy. So crazy, it just might work. And the joke isn't just not funny, it also doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, there's no, what is the joke?
It's not absurd enough that it's like, oh, the joke is that the joke is that it's like absurd, but it's gonna work. And it's not mundane enough that it's like, oh, he thinks it's crazy, but then it does end up happening. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's just dumb and nonsense.
The most legitimately funny running joke they do is actually, unironically, the villain farts when he laughs joke.
Hang on.
There's a great quote from a review down here.
Let's see.
When the nearest thing to a genuine joke is the bad guy's propensity for breaking wind whenever he laughs, you can be pretty sure that you're not in the hands of comedy geniuses.
Yeah.
And even that joke isn't really funny on paper. The actor just plays it well. Yeah. Like, every time he farts in character, he just does these great, like, embarrassed, awkward, not again.
And, like, whenever he thinks he isn't about to fart, he has, like, this little smug look on his face, so it's like...
Like, I did it. Fart.
And then he farts, and then he looks so embarrassed. I think my favorite one is, like, when he's running away.
Yes, the final one where he's running away and just evil laughing and farting, and he just keeps doing it because he doesn't care.
And then like he's like giving this one last big laugh, and then he just like a really loud one.
And then he just looks disappointed.
But they even managed to ruin that one at the end.
No, they did.
They knock him in the pool.
Was that one of the post-credit scenes?
I think so.
Yeah, where the last fart they do is then unfunny again.
Yeah, like it's like they knock him in the pool, and he's like, "Is he dead?" And then it's just this massive.
I hate to give compliments to the nostalgia critic, but when he reviewed this movie, he pretty accurately he did an accurate representation of the highs and lows of the fart joke. The highs and lows of the fart joke. Yeah, everything he said about the fart jokes is like true. They are good, and then you get tired of them, and then they find a way to make it good again, and then they make it bad again in the post credits because this movie will ruin everything you love.
Yeah. Pain.
There's an end credits scene where Dana Carvey chases a midget Mario around for some reason.
That has like 3 different endings, where it's like first it's Dana Carvey chases midget dwarf,
and then Dana Carvey looks at the audience and goes, "Why are you still here? The movie's over." And I just scream, I don't know. Why am I still here, Dana?
Why won't you let us leave, Carvey?
Stop talking.
And then they fade out, and then
he
fade
keeps
back
talking,
in,
and they fade back in and do another joke.
And then after that, there's another bit like 10-second scene of like the dog falling over.
Bruh, even the Snyder cut didn't make us yell stop this hard. Like, cause it just keeps going. Like, the movie aggressively refuses to stop being not funny.
If the power had cut out during this movie, we would never have gone back to it.
It just so aggressively refuses to be funny and refuses to stop thinking that it's funny. It's like that one person, not even the friend who makes bad jokes, because that's giving it too much credit.
No.
That one person who thinks he's your friend and makes nothing but bad jokes, and you can't get him to stop.
Right.
That's this movie.
It's painful. We didn't even
obnoxious.
We didn't even talk about this, like the dinner scene where it's like Dana Carvey goes through 3 in like 3
right. He starts
disguises.
rapid firing the disguises.
Like, first it's Tony Montana, and it's like you're already doing an Italian stereotype. Why are you doing Tony Montana?
Oh yeah, and then the credits also even so there's the post-credit scenes.
Oh,
this is the most angry credits have ever made me. There's the post-credit scenes, and there's also for the entirety of the credits bloopers. Some of which are from scenes they cut, like entirely different disguises, entirely different things. It literally does not ever stop. The entirety of the credits have unfunny, like, things playing on screen.
It's on the level of, if you've ever seen Tropic Thunder, of like the comedy, the comedians' fake movies of the fatties fart too.
It really does feel like a fake movie.
It feels like a fake movie, but it's
just
real.
The fact that no one knew it was. If even one, there's one minor character like that has like 2 lines that seems like maybe he knows he's in a bad movie, because the bad guy says. This guy asked him, "How'd you get all this stuff?" And the bad guy goes, "From
disguise."
And then the guy just goes, "Oh, so it's the master of disguise." Okay. And just the way he says it seems like he's talking about the movie, not the character.
It's like, God damn it, I'm in master of disguise, aren't I? Okay, let's just get this over with.
Yeah, but he's not in the movie enough.
No,
like it's. I could probably rant about it more, but it's like.
It's just painful.
It doesn't feel like it's worth it even.
Yeah.
At the end, the bad guy has somehow disguised the dad as the bad guy, and so the dad actually thinks he's the bad guy. I didn't think that's how the disguises work. But okay. The main character also makes multiple comments implying his mom has a thick ass. Okay,
that's why he's attracted to the thick ass.
Very, very funny.
Funny. Laugh,
please. They say, and you just like if Garfield was just like I'm bored, this movie really is the textbook like I'm not laughing with you, I'm groaning at every single joke.
It's not even groaning. It's like it's just exhaustion.
Groan-worthy at worst, exhausting at best.
Yes.
Like, this movie was 5 minutes shorter than Garfield.
It felt
an hour longer.
It was so painful. Like, even though we took a
bathroom break. Oh my god. And you went and mixed so many drinks.
Ugh. It was intense.
We're usually not delirious until our 3rd movie, but this was 2 movies in and we were already like so delirious.
We were gone.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't even drinking that much. Well, we drink a lot, to be honest. But, like, we weren't drinking... Like, we weren't drunk. We were just gone.
Just gone. And I was, like, collapsing into a ball of anger at the end of the movie when it just wouldn't stop going and kept having more credit scenes. I can't get over that.
It was torture. It was absolute torture. And then we had that realization of, fuck, we have to watch Baby Geniuses now.
But by this point... I guess this is as good of a way to transition as any. By this point, we were so delirious that we didn't even want to watch Baby Geniuses.
So when we looked up Baby Geniuses, we saw that there was this 3rd movie that we never heard of.
3rd. What you mean is 5th. Baby Geniuses, the Baby Geniuses cinematic universe. So we go onto Prime Video, we look up Baby Geniuses,
and then we're like, wait,
we're horrible people.
The
Baby Geniuses in the Quest for Egypt? Baby Geniuses in the Crown Jewels? Baby Geniuses in the Search for the Space Baby?
Why do all of these movies have Jon Voight in them?
And then we watched Baby Geniuses in the Space Baby, which,
my God.
So then I went to Wikipedia to figure out, okay, what is this movie that we're watching? Because we watched the trailer and it looked so incredibly low budget. Let me just read this.
Get this.
In 2011, an original series based on the Baby Genius films was announced. The series has only aired in Italy and the Far East. I don't know what that means, Wikipedia, but we're gonna go with it. The series was released as a set of movies. Baby Geniuses and the Mystery of the Crown Jewels is episodes 1 through 4. Episodes 5 through 8 are Baby Geniuses and the Treasures of Egypt. And the one we watched, Baby Geniuses and the Space Baby, is episodes 9 through 12. unintentionally watched episodes 9 through 12 of the Baby Geniuses spin-off television show. It was probably more entertaining than the actual Baby Geniuses.
Yes.
Because Baby Geniuses would have been just another terrible comedy that thought...
we would have been either pain-induced or bored.
We probably would have been on our phones halfway through.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, we were on our phones for a lot of this, too.
But
that's because this was literally a nonsense show made for children where the plot was
each individual episode was already nonsense, but then you put it together in a movie.
And it's just like a bunch of
it's even more nonsense.
It's like it's like
we just watched 4 episodes of Scooby-Doo, and it made granted, that's a different show for a different audience, but that made way more sense than this.
So the thing about this is a show, right? And it's clearly made for toddlers. But the plot lines of the episodes are so overcomplicated, and they all build on each other. So it's just like this really overcomplicated, no structure thing that, especially when watching episodes 9 through 12 without watching the rest, there was a recap at the beginning, but that was also nonsense.
That was also complete nonsense. And we were like, why is John Voight here?
Yeah, no, John Voight is the villain, the international thief Moriarty.
Moriarty's in this.
And apparently the producer of the Baby Geniuses movies, Stephen Paul, is like
his manager.
John Voight's manager.
I don't know why
he's friends with their parents or something.
I don't know why he hasn't fired. John Voight hasn't fired him. He's either a family friend who he can't get rid of, or he's got some serious dirt on John Voight.
But the best scenes are the ones where John Voight and his henchman psychic. Again, we have the consistent theming of the villain being more entertaining because they're allowed to be more schlocky.
He wasn't even in the first episode. That much.
Yeah, no. Well, it starts out with him only being in the occasional scene, and the scene adds nothing. It's just like, well, we have John Voight.
But then it keeps going, and it's like, oh my god.
The funniest thing is that until the very last episode, John Voight is not in any of the same shots as the babies.
They are in completely different universes.
Like, they just didn't film. They didn't want to make him film with the babies until like the end, where they're like, I guess. There's no Wikipedia article for this, by the way. I had to find this info by clicking on the first movies article and then scrolling down to the sequel and other media tab.
There is no...
Also, when you Google search Baby Geniuses film series, it shows there only being 2 movies. So, like, this is a cryptid movie that basically doesn't exist. We don't need to look at the list of the worst films.
I was trying to click on Baby Geniuses 2 and seeing if it would, like, lead me to a different page.
Okay, anyway.
But, yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to even just recap this movie because
you can't recap it because it's nonsense. We'll just talk about the general structure of every episode.
Yeah.
Because they don't like cleanly segment the episodes or anything, but if you're paying attention, which we shouldn't have been, you start to notice. You start to notice the patterns. Okay, we're good.
Okay,
I'd be surprised if we were there, but you start to notice the patterns. Every episode will start at the Bobbins daycare where all the babies are being taken.
It starts with this.
It'll start with some weird scene with the babies.
No, it starts with a weird scene with the guy.
With the guy and the parents of the babies, I guess. Like weirdly flirting? Mega question mark? I literally don't know what those scenes
Is this flirting? Is this meant to be banter? Or is this secretly fetish fuel? I don't know. And the answer to all of those questions could be yes and no at the same time.
Yeah, every once in a while they would have a scene with the babies that felt just vaguely like some pedophile was bankrolling this. And that's
it's not helped that these babies are clearly
all toddlers.
They're like at least 2 or 3. They're old enough to where the kids are
look so uncomfortable in the diapers,
standing around in diapers. It's
weird. I'm pretty sure the original baby, like, I haven't seen baby geniuses or super babies, baby geniuses 2 in a long time.
I think they're like babies or young toddlers.
Yeah, like they're younger than they are in this. These are like toddlers that are like this tall.
They're starting to get to the point where they're actual children.
Yes. And also the other thing about at least the actual Baby Genius movies, at least in those movies, the babies are actually the main characters.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how difficult it is to, like, film that or whatever, set that up, the babies are the main characters. In this, they are not. They are, like, branding. They don't do anything.
No.
The babies all are introduced as being characters that have their own special talents. One of them is the Master of Disguise.
Master of Disguise.
That's why
BGCU.
The Baby Geniuses cinematic universe.
He's a Fabrizio or
Disguise. But the problem is, none of those, like, the babies literally never.
That baby never goes and gets a disguise.
No.
Like, none of the babies
ever do anything or use their abilities.
No.
They just follow the adult.
That's left up to the blonde lady who we're pretty sure does porn.
Yeah, there was like a. Why is she recognizable? I doubt it's from another movie. She's probably from porn. She acts like a porn actress.
And there's, I think...
And they send her character out on all the missions because they're like, I don't know, giving her as much screen time as possible. Apparently she was in the second Baby Geniuses movie.
But
like...
That was regarded as her high point of her career.
You looked her up, and it said, known for super babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
And then I'm like...
would you rather be known for porn or super babies, Baby Geniuses 2?
I'd be rather known for porn.
Right? Like...
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's not the mom of the babies. That actress is given nothing to do. No. Even in the big finale...
Granted, she was also bad.
No, she was. But most of them were.
Most of them were, but like at least they could like consistently get their lines.
Yeah. At one point she goes, Bob! And I don't even know what emotion she was trying to portray.
Yeah.
But anyway, every episode starts with the awkward flirt scene between them. Then the babies get sent on a mission. Then they go to a foreign country that is always vaguely racist.
Yeah, vaguely.
There's no... Vaguely in comparison to Dana Carvey doing Indian blackface in Master of Disguise.
Except for that one time the suit guy went with them instead of the blonde lady, and he was straight up being racist to the Chinese people.
And so he just doesn't go on any missions with them afterwards.
No.
So there's that, and then every episode, I don't even remember what the other things. There's a space baby, and the space baby really, really, really is barely in the movie and does not matter. That fucking movie list.
Like, I don't think...
Stephen Paul, producer of Baby Geniuses. His producing credits include Never Too Young to Die, The Musketeer, Ghost Rider, Bratz the Movie, Doomsday, Tekken, Ghost in the Shell...
2017.
Ghost in the Shell 2017.
Rambo,
and Rambo Last Blood.
I don't think he's directed a good... I don't think he's been involved with a good movie.
He was Gene Wilder's manager at one point.
Okay, screw having dirt on Jon Voight or Gene Wilder. This guy must have some fucking dirt on the Hollywood industry as a whole.
He must just be able to get people jobs pretty well.
Was he on Epstein Isle? I don't know.
I feel like Epstein is a big Baby Geniuses fan. At one point we did say, we're going to turn this off if there's another uncomfortable baby scene, and then we never had one that was as uncomfortable again.
But like there was
one vaguely one, but by that point we were like 15 minutes out, and we didn't care.
Yeah.
In January 2017, he purchased Echo Bridge. Why did he buy a bridge?
I don't know.
What are we doing now?
I don't even know anymore. Beyond Two Souls.
We're just like...
We're just... He's also an actor, apparently.
Okay.
What? He voices Urusei Yatsura.
What? Why?
I don't know.
No, get off of Stephen Paul's Wikipedia page, please. I don't want to know this much about this man.
Fucking hell, man. Why are we
They're still on his Wikipedia page.
Baby. Is that even better?
Just close it.
Close it.
We're done, basically. We just are. I just don't feel done. I feel like I will. Last night feels like a fever dream because we were already so gone after Master of Disguise, and then Baby Geniuses 5: The Search for Space Baby was just me sitting there laughing
haven't even talked
at the
about
horrible effects.
Space
Baby's in like 4 scenes. Like, Space Baby is a plot device that doesn't. Oh yeah, every episode. Here's some other things they do every episode. They'll go to some funny country in a funny teleporter with an awful shaky visual effect. They'll have a moment where they need an expert on some random bullshit, and they always call the previous villain from the other episodes Big Baby, who's this fucking Hannibal Lecter Silence of the Lambs in prison baby that just like helps.
That sounds more interesting than it is.
It's not. It's like just a baby and a man in a prison together in like prison jumpsuits, and they'll be in like one scene. They show up at the end to help defeat Moriarty. At one point, Moriarty steals a MacGuffin and sneaks away like this, and then he like looks back at the camera, and they sped up the footage so it looks even dumber than what I just did.
So bad.
And then, but he literally steals it when the good guys are in the same room and they don't see him. And then later, the good guys steal it back from him, also while he's in the same room.
Like while he's like looking in the direction of them.
And for some reason, he runs like a burger joint, but they're like, oh, you're Mortimer. No, you're Moriarty. No, I'm Mortimer. I was named after my mother.
I'm Big Daddy Morris.
Oh, no, it wasn't this movie. This movie had a Big Daddy joke, but that was another Master of Disguise running joke of like, who's your daddy? Gets slapped. Nothing is funny anymore.
Nothing is funny. Comedy does not exist.
Comedy is not real.
Laugh!
Jokes are dead. Humor is dead.
We infected comedy.
Master of Disguise and Baby Geniuses. The camera cut off at some point. I don't care when. We spent the last 5 minutes just sitting on the couch talking about how comedy is dead because Baby Geniuses.
Yeah,
because the BGCU exist.
The BGCU. Get the already.
Oh, right. We have a new prop, everyone. I'm gonna like put this down on the table so we can do this. Let me just set it down here. Push this in. Set up for the exorcism. Comedy really took the L. We really took the L when we decided to watch Garfield, Master of Disguise, and Baby Geniuses. I should have used this more, to be honest.
Yeah. Fuck, we forgot to make a I slammed my penis on the car door reference.
Shut up. We don't need to make an I slammed my penis. That was the intro of the last video. So
oh yeah, it was.
I slammed the comedy in the car door.
Okay, let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Comedy! You've been infected by a demon called Master of Disguise.
You've been infected by the Disguisey thing.
You've been infected by the Disguisey virus. It's making you lose any sense of humor.
And revert to baby.
No
one in Baby Geniuses is a genius. The adults are as dumb as the babies. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
It's bad. You're making us lose brain cells as we talk about you. What do you have to say for yourself before I banish the demons from you and restore you to being funny again?
You've taken the L!
Avast ye!
Arrivederci! He says it like that in the Master of Disguise movie. A fear!
L!
A fear!
L!